各位记者朋友，
Friends from the media, good afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference. Now the floor is open to questions. Xinhua News Agency.
Since the U.S. and Israel launched military strikes against Iran on February 28th, U.S. military assets in GCC countries and Jordan have been attacked, was China's comment. The U.S.-Israel military strikes against Iran, which have no authorization of the UN Security Council, violate international law. China is deeply concerned that the spillover of the fighting has affected other countries in the region. China believes that the sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity of the Gulf countries should also be fully respected. We urge parties to stop the military operations and prevent further spread of the fighting. China commends the statement by the 50th Extraordinary Meeting of the GCC Ministerial Council that reaffirmed the importance of dialogue and diplomacy as the sole path to overcome the current crisis and preserve regional security. The current situation in the region is complex and sensitive. China supports regional countries in enhancing communication and coordination and jointly working for peace and stability in the region. Next one, please.
Thank you so much. I am Nahid Purisa from IRIB Press TV. As you just mentioned, it was on Thursday that we just discussed about, and I asked the question about the China's position on the possible aggression of the United States. And today, I'm sitting here knowing that, being aware of our leader has been assassinated by the United States. China has taken a very strong position. Wang Yi stated that it's not acceptable for the United States and Israel to launch strikes on Iran. And it's not acceptable for them to blatantly kill the leader of a sovereign country and seek for regime change. China has asked for respecting the international law and also going back to negotiations. And in this regard, I want to ask China, as a major global power with a veto power in the UN Security Council and a strategic partner of Iran, beyond verbal condemnation, how can China play a role in preventing the US from carrying out what Wang rightly called in unilateral actions, such as assassinating leaders of sovereign countries? And also regarding to the negotiations, Wang urged two parties to return to the negotiation table. But that negotiation table wasn't the very platform that US imperialism paves the way to attack us. And they used the platform to prepare and to buy time to actually, for them and for the Israelis to attack Iran. Thank you so much.
中方
We are deeply concerned over the current situation. We firmly oppose the use of force in international relations or infringement in other countries' sovereignty and security. The priority now is to immediately stop military operations and prevent the spread and spillover of the conflict. China stands ready to work with the international community to call for peace and stop the conflict, resolve issues through dialogue and negotiations, and maintain peace and stability in the Middle East and the world at large. Next one, please.
Question for another agency. It's been reported that Iranian Revolutionary Guard is blocking transition of commercial ships through Strait of Hormuz in Persian Gulf because of the conflict. 1/5 of world's oil and LNG supplies, as well as nearly half of China's oil imports, go across this strait before reaching to the destinations. How do you think this de facto blockade of the strait might affect China's imports and energy security in general?
The Strait of Hormuz and its adjacent waters are an important international trade route for goods and energy. To keep the region secure and stable serves the common interests of the international community. China urges relevant parties to immediately stop military operations, avoid further escalation of the tense situation, and prevent regional turmoil from causing greater damage to global economic growth. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。总台央视记者提问：当前
Amid the severe security situation in Iran, Chinese embassies and consulates in relevant countries have issued security alerts and evacuation advisories. What other measures will China take to further protect Chinese citizens in Iran? Since the security situation in Iran turns tense, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Chinese diplomatic missions in Iran have issued alerts more than once. They have worked in various forms to call on Chinese citizens to evacuate as soon as possible. As of March the 2nd, Beijing time, over 3,000 Chinese citizens have been evacuated from Iran. Chinese diplomatic missions in Iran's neighboring countries have sent working groups to receive and assist the evacuated Chinese citizens at border ports. Given the severe security situation in Iran, we once again advise the Chinese citizens in Iran to take safety precautions and leave Iran as soon as possible. If any help is needed, please contact Chinese Embassy and Consulate in Iran or dial Consular Protection Hotline 12308. Next one, please.
AFP, the Foreign Ministry yesterday confirmed that a Chinese national was injured in the attacks. Can you share more information about the injured Chinese national? Where was he or she injured?
One Chinese national in Tehran was affected in the military conflict and passed away. We mourn for the life lost, extend sincere sympathies to the bereaved families. The MFA has directed our embassy in Iran to provide assistance to the national and family. Next one, please.
Another question for Anadolu Agency. Foreign Minister Wang Yi, in his phone conversation with Russian counterpart Lavrov, called international community to make a clear and unequivocal voice in opposing the regression of the world to the law of the jungle. How do you think? I mean, by which means should such a message be given? Thank you.
First, China has made clear its position. At the request of China and Russia, UN Security Council held an emergency meeting on the current situation in Iran. China stands ready to work with other parties to speak up at the UN and at the SAO and other platforms for justice and uphold international fairness and justice. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。深圳卫视
It's been reported that the U.S. Department of War was in talks with leading AI companies about partnerships to conduct automatic reconnaissance of China's power grids, utilities, and sensitive networks with AI-powered cyber tools. What's China's comment? We have noted reports on this. The U.S. has long been the leading source of instability in cyberspace. It had been conducting cyber attacks and pre-positioning against China's key infrastructure even before the development of AI. The U.S. government even asks major tech companies to directly serve U.S. geopolitical, political, and military targets. The Chinese side has made clear its deep concern to the U.S. side through multiple channels and will ensure cybersecurity with all measures necessary. Next one, please.
Thank you. Bloomberg News. U.S. President Donald Trump has said that he'll visit China later this month. Do you have any details about that visit? Does it appear to your side that this will go ahead? Thank you.
中美就两国元首互动保持
China and the U.S. are maintaining contact on the interaction between the two presidents. As for the specific question, I have no information to offer at the moment. Next one, please.
Question for Anadolu Agency. Another question about the phone call between Chinese and Russian foreign ministers. Are China and Russia considering providing military support to Iran if the country requests such a support? Is that possibility discussed during the call? Thank you.
关于王毅外长同俄罗斯外长拉夫罗夫通电话的情况，中方已经
As for the phone call, we have released the readout to introduce the specific information. I do not have more to offer. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。NHK 提问。
NHK, the United States and Israel launched military strikes against Iran, and Iran's supreme leader, Khamenei, died. What is China's response to this?
The killing of the supreme leader of Iran violates the sovereignty and security of Iran and trample on the purposes and principles of the UN Charter and the basic norms governing international relations. China strongly deplores it. We urge for the immediate stop of the military operations and jointly safeguard peace and stability in the Middle East and the whole world. Next one, please. Foreign media recently reported that Iran is close to a deal with China to purchase the CM-302 supersonic anti-ship missile. If delivered, the missiles will be among the most advanced military hardware to be transferred to Iran by China in recent years. Can you confirm this? The report is not true. As a responsible major country, China always abides by its international obligations. China opposes ill-intentioned association and the spread of disinformation and hopes relevant sides will choose the course of action conducive to de-escalating the tense situation. Next one, please.
AFP again, another question on Iran. The US President Donald Trump has said yesterday that this war in Iran could last 4 weeks. So what's China's reaction and what's your message for the US President? Thank you.
中方已经多次阐明了立场。
China has made clear its position on multiple occasions. We urge all parties to stop military operations immediately and avoid the further escalation of the tension to jointly uphold peace and stability in the Middle East and the whole world.
Question for another agency. Did China have any contacts with U.S. side during or just before this military operation? Thank you.
我可以告诉你的是，中方没有提前。
I can say that China was not informed beforehand. Next one, please. It's reported that on February 27th local time, a Bolivian military plane crashed onto a busy avenue. What's China's comment? We noted relevant reports. China expresses deep condolences over the lives lost in the incident and heartfelt sympathies to the bereaved families and the injured, and wishes the injured a speedy recovery.
Hello. Thanks. I'm with NPR. What else? What you've said that China calls for a cessation of the fighting in Iran and the attack. What else can be done? Does the United Nations have a role that should be played here? Or are you calling for another Security Council meeting or some other type of multilateral effort? Thank you.
中国和俄罗斯已经推动联合。
China and Russia has put the emergency meeting on the UN Security Council. We support the UN Security Council to play a role in this and also urge all parties to take actions to prevent the further escalation of the tension. Next one, please.
Hi, FN News Agency. The PLA Navy Hospital ship Silk Road Ark docked last week in Valparaiso, Chile, as part of its Harmony 2025 medical deployment, but Chilean Health Authority did not authorize the planned free medical service on board, citing regulatory requirements. In light of this, does China plan to review the procedures of its overseas medical and humanitarian missions to avoid similar situations in the future? Thank you.
这个问题建议你向中方的主管部门了。
I'd refer you to competent authorities. Next one, please. Any other questions? This is the end of today's press conference. Thank you all for coming.